back for another Cowboys and Coffee podcast. This one, I don't even have the words for it. Got to be the most disappointing loss in recent Cowboys history. D, this stinks, and there's really no two ways about it. And it's a clown show, and I'm going to get heated already. Just give me a first synopsis of the game. Just give me something.
Nothing. There's nothing. What? We lost on a special teams punt return, interception return. Did we lose by a close defensive game? We're all in shock of this whole thing. By the way, when you put a title to this, Cowboys and Coffee, put everything sucks. That's what you do. You put everything sucks because everything does. Because this is second chance. Oh. I'll tell you, when he got home that night and Mike was coming back, McCarthy was coming back, he was like, he better be praising the Lord because that's, not trying to make fun of that, but.
This is the most despicable loss I've seen in the Cowboys. You know, Cowboys have lost even in recent history to the Packers several times. And each one you could say, listen, we're just a play away, or it's just the catch, or whatever it was, or great play by Rodgers rolling left. There's no excuse for this game. There's no reason that you can be like, oh, it's just something small. Nope. They sucked on both sides of the ball. They weren't good. Offense wasn't good. Defense wasn't good. Head coach, offensive play caller, same stupid idiot. And the defense coordinator, they all stink. They're garbage. You know who played well? Michael Gallup. Thank you, Michael Gallup. One person had their head out of their rear end and wanted to come play football. CD stacked up late garbage yardage. The game was already over. The game was over at halftime. I mean, what an embarrassing loss at home. They hadn't lost all year at home.
We have to bring this point up because the New York Giants beat the Green Bay Packers. You had the following week you played. You beat the Redskins. You came in. Everybody was there. You knew what was on the table. Knew everything. Everybody knew everything. We all knew it. Everybody knew it. And preparation, mental preparation, physical preparation, it was all there. And guess what? What do you call this game?
It's hard not to say they overlooked the Packers. It's hard not to say that.
Right.
Because it looks like they did. They were looking forward to an NFC Championship game to get back to face the 49ers. And guess what? You didn't even get out of the wild card. You know, I don't want to hear about what a great offense they had all year, great defense they had all year. And we're biggest Dak supporters. We're biggest Micah Parsons supporters. We're biggest supporters of almost all these guys. Where were they? Micah Parsons, 2 tackles. Clown show. Where's the podcast, buddy? Where's the podcast this week? You know, you're going to talk trash when you beat up the Commanders? Sure, fine. You get clowned by the Packers, you don't have a peep in the game. No difference in the game whatsoever. We could have put the Sisters of the Poor out of defensive end. They would have done the exact same thing. 2 tackles, just stuck their head in there. At least try to get knock the ball out. What was going on?
Well, I did tell you in this last podcast that I really didn't want to match up against the Packers. They were coming. Their offense, they're for real. And I did say, we don't have a great defense. We have a defense that creates turnovers. And no turnovers, you lose. So that means you don't turn a ball over against the Cowboys, you're going to beat them good.
Listen,
that's what it shows you on paper. And in those games, you didn't turn the ball over, you're crushing the Cowboys. So that means that defense dressed up nice, but they weren't. Mm-hmm.
As Brandon Marshall would say, popcorn muscles. They look good, but they're not there to punch you in the face. Let me be very clear. Dan Quinn has got to go. Dan Quinn's got to go. You think this is an overreaction, Paul? 0-3 against the previous guys that were on his staff, now as head coaches. And this year, all 3 of them whooped him. San Francisco, Kyle Shanahan, demolished him. Mike McDaniel, with the Dolphins, crushed him. And now Matt LaFleur outcoached both McCarthy and this clown Dan Quinn.
Yep.
3 times the Cowboys were absolutely had their doors blown off. Not a new wrinkle, not a new look, not a new anything. These guys coached with McCarthy in Atlanta, coached with Dan Quinn in Atlanta, and they beat the tar off him because they knew everything that was coming. And that was it. The Cowboys were never in the game, and they never had a chance. They couldn't even forget playing San Francisco again. They probably would have beat them by 100. It's embarrassing. Embarrassing.
Well, the linebackers, we knew there was a question on there, and they did their homework. The Packers did their homework on them, and they found out that we didn't have a middle linebacker against the run, and the outside linebacker was weak. I get all that. I understand that. That was something that was the games and playoffs. You start 0, no rankings, no 25th ranked defense in the Packers, no 11th ranked offense in the Packers. Everything's there's no rankings. So guess what? Whatever tape you get, they made it look like they were the San Francisco 49ers at 85 team.
Cowboys didn't run on a team that they thought they could run on. CD had nothing early until late in the game. We started to get stuff, but they were already touchdowns behind. They didn't do anything. Just an absolutely pathetic performance. Dak's throwing interceptions that get returned for scores and set up scores. I mean, they let up 14 points just off of turnovers in the first half. And the Cowboys are in a hole. They lose by 16. Even just not turning the ball over, at least during the ball game. But these stupid idiots couldn't even do that. I mean, absolutely the most pathetic playoff loss that I've seen. And we've seen some. Last year, the loss to the 49ers, like, man, I know the 49ers are a good team, but we thought it could have been better. They had talked all year about it. What's going to change this offseason? What's going to change? They're bringing back Mike McCarthy, which we had known. We had talked about this. He's a Jerry kiss-up. That's why Jerry loves him. And we're going to see it again. What makes anyone think we're not going to be in the exact same place next year? Listen, I think the Eagles are on the downturn. The Giants and the Commanders have a long way to go to catch up. Great, you'll win the division next year, and you'll get to the playoffs, and how could I say they're going to be anything but wild card team or divisional round at best? Well, I can't say anything more than that.
Let me touch on what you brought up. Giants, Eagles, and Commanders. After this loss, I don't know if we're much better than them now, because we're coming back with the same coach, Jason Garrett 2.2, 2.0, 2.6, whatever the 2.0. We're coming back with the same tone, the same aura, all that. The Eagles are going to make changes. They're not going to play like they did this year, even though they're losing some up front. I get all that. They got 12 draft picks. They're going to come back changed. The coordinators are going to change. Conquistadors, they're going to change. They're going to get better. The Giants, those 3 teams are going to get better. We got the same head coach. Yeah. And that's my point. You get my drift?
McCarthy has shown the last 2 playoff games he can get out-coached, and he's been out-coached. Listen, we know the 49ers are stacked as a team. They've done a great job adding talent there. The Packers, I still thought the Cowboys had more talent on the roster. They were clearly out-coached. It wasn't even close. You would have thought the Packers were the home team, who was the number 2 seed, and the Cowboys were on the road, who had finally managed to get their way in the playoffs, just got their doors blown off. I cannot say enough how bad of a loss this is. It's just it's unbelievable. I haven't even watched a drop of football content since the loss. I got installed as senior pastor this week at my lovely church here. It was a fantastic time. And I'm so glad I wasn't home to watch the stupid game, because I put my fist through the TV at how stupid these guys are. And you know what? They don't care. They don't care. And I said the same thing last year. They don't care, because guess what? They're in Cancun right now with the Eagles players saying, yeah, we suck. And they do suck. You know what? They don't care. This is our lives. We're here, complaining and moaning on the Cowboys and Coffee podcast, and they're sitting on the beach just having a good old time. Have fun, Dak. Have fun. You're a loser. And until you prove otherwise, you just keep losing and keep being bummed. These guys are losers, and I'm sick and tired of rooting for losers.
We have 5, 6 all-pros on that team. First team, second team, all-pros. 6, 7, whatever. We get into the playoffs, and what happens? What happens? Is there any... Okay, let me say this. Who built the pyramids is the number 1 question. Number 2, giraffes with the long necks. And number 3, what has happened the last 25 years when we get into playoffs? Those 3 questions. Pyramids, giraffes, and the playoffs.
I mean, what do you
It's a head coach.
We proved everybody right. We proved the Joy Taylors of the world right. Heaven forbid. We proved Stephen A. Smith right. We proved all the critics, Dan Orlovsky, everybody, all year long, who said, great, the Cowboys are winning. Can you trust them in the playoffs? And they didn't even get a win under their belt. Last year, at least they beat the Bucks and made the next round. You beat them in Tampa Bay. This year, at home, you laid a goose egg, a dud. An abysmal performance, a dismal performance, an embarrassment, a joke. I have not been able to turn on the TV. I have not been able to look at ESPN and the NFL. I have nothing because it was that horrific performance.
And let me tell you this. Some player, and I don't know what Dak said. I think he said what he said. It was about he didn't play well. Parsons should have got up to the podium or on his podcast. Listen, you know we let a lot of you guys down. We let ourselves down, and we stunk. Hiding, taking off. This just shows me you care about your team, yourself, your own stats. That's all it cares.
Because
I mean, you don't know me. They don't know us.
Right.
But we're fans. We pay money. We cheer. We go to the stadiums. We pay the money. And guess what? Nobody should. You're showing up to the podium or on your podcast is listen. I played bad. I let everybody down.
Absolutely despicable performance. Literally, who was good? And Micah, like we've said, where's the podcast, bro? You talking trash during regular season when you're beating all the Commanders. I got no problem. We're coming for these guys. Buddy, how about give me 3 tackles in a game, in a playoff game? You gave me 2. 2 tackles, 1 solo. Congratulations. Absolutely embarrassing performance. Because you know what? TJ Watt's showing up. Myles Garrett was showing up.
Yep.
TJ Watt is out there doing everything he can to get on the field, and he had a better performance by not playing than Micah Parsons.
Pyramids, giraffes, and why we get into playoffs.
Dan Quinn's defense does not make adjustments, and that's why it looks good because you do have a lot of talent on the defensive end, but it's just not doing anything when these other guys are out scheming you, and that's it. You see the successful teams are teams where the head coach is out scheming other players. Right, look at the Ravens this year. They changed their offense. Look at the team, what they've been able to do, and they're honestly a couple of like weird like head coaching maneuvers away from almost an undefeated season. They're that good. If you watch them, they're a couple of fourth quarter leads away from winning everything.
Right.
The 49ers out coaching. The Lions, Bobby Slowick and Dan Campbell out coaching people. The Dolphins, right now they're gone, whatever, but their offense when they were healthy, and now they got killed by injuries down the stretch.
Yeah. That's true.
Even the Bills, they changed their offense and the offensive coordinator. Look, they've taken off the last half of the season. Now they're number 2 seed. You know, Andy Reid with the Chiefs. That's the difference between the great teams or the competitive teams and us as coaching. McCarthy, what are we going to do? We're going to It's currently Friday, January 19th. I don't know what the NFL schedule looks like next year, but I would bet January 19th next year will probably be in the exact same position. Hopefully with Mike McCarthy fired. But
well, we got a call years ago with T.O. getting fired, let go. We got the call at 2 o'clock in the morning, way before ESPN and the rest of them. And I was waiting for that call. I waited for it. And I got a call that he was staying.
Yep. And
I keep saying this. This is a nightmare. I'm going to wake up. My wife, shout out to my wife. She's not feeling good. I'm waiting for Monk to say, hon, it was only a dream. Dallas won. They beat Green Bay 30-28 on a last second field goal. And they're moving on. That's what I'm waiting for. That is a nightmare. But guess what? It's not.
And Cowboys fans, it feels like we're all zombies.
Oh, zombies.
It feels like we're just walking.
I ran into that guy I told you at Costco pumping gas. Guy gets out of the truck. He goes, yeah, buddy, McCarthy's still there. Why is he still there? It was like, no life. And the guy was like, no life. 7, 8 all pros, all of it.
Right.
Yep.
All that to lose in the wild card, an embarrassing loss. And we're sitting here just like in a fog, in a daze, because of how embarrassing it was. Just like, it wasn't like, listen, some absolutely crazy play happened.
Right.
Offense played great. Defense, some injuries happened. They couldn't,
yep.
Or defense played great. The offense just couldn't get it going. A couple crazy turnovers. What happened? Nope. Nobody played great. Michael Gallup was the only person who even came to play. The rest of those guys, they were already in Cancun. They were already on vacation.
I'm going to say it again. The truth of the matter is, the Giants, the Eagles are going to play better from this year, and the Commanders are going to play better. They're all going to play better. Guess what? That's 2 more losses for us in the division, maybe 3 in our division, along with everything else, and we're staying the same.
Here's my question: what makes me think the Cowboys are going to play hard for Mike McCarthy next year? He's a dead man walking. It's his last year under contract, and what makes me think he can get the best out of him? Not much.
It is a factor. It's already out there that players know who's on the contract, longevity, and security. They know.
And if they start going on a losing streak, it's over. Yeah. It's over. And unfortunately, the Cowboys organization, these players have done that year after year. Whether it was Wade and Jason Garrett was throwing play calls, and the players gave up on Wade, and Jason Garrett was a dead man walking, and had some adversity, and they gave up on him. What makes me think these guys are not going to do it? You sell different players, different times, because there's no GM save for Jerry, who overmanages and micromanages. Because there's not that extra layer of accountability. It's over. As long as they're comfortable, these guys are getting paid, they're making their money. Coaches come and go, baby, but those millions have got to stay. That's what matters.
Here's a word that has always come up when we go to Dallas, and it was under Jason Garrett, and it's under McCarthy too. Country club. It's a country club, because when we go there, you see everybody.
Yeah, we do.
You see everybody. All of them. See everybody. Country club.
And
country club is good when you're playing golf, but it ain't good when you're playing football.
I'm so upset. I cannot put into words. I wasn't feeling good the last couple of days. It's been a rough go. You've been under it. You've been having your little whatever, your procedures. You're doing okay. We're both doing better. Mm-hmm. This has been probably one of the worst weeks to be a Cowboys fan in a long time. We've dealt with some suck seasons. This one loss, is the worst I've dealt with because they had nothing.
Yeah. And I can relate to Peter. In the Bible. Let's go biblical. I'm at Costco. Somebody come up to me. Hey, aren't you that Cowboy fan, Bill Cortez? No. No. Come on, you're that Cowboy fan, Billy Cortez. That's right, because you talk about the Cowboys all the time. As a matter of fact, I've seen you in here giving stuff away to other Cowboy fans. Aren't you, Bill Cortez? Nah, I don't know. I don't even like football. It's funny, isn't it? Yeah. Pretty close to it.
I can relate to Peter, too. Someone texted me, oh, Cowboys stink, they lost again. I want to cut their ear off. So I can relate to Peter there, too. Yeah. Dan Quinn, it does look to me like Dan Quinn's going to go somewhere else for a head coaching job. Maybe back to Seattle, maybe Tennessee. Good luck. Thanks for the good times. And now good riddance. You could say, oh, come on, Paul, you're just saying that because you're mad because of the loss. I'm saying that because you cannot get over the top with this defense without making any new wrinkles. Yes, they've had great seasons. They've had 3 straight seasons, 12-5, 12 wins, 12-4, 12-5. And you know what that is accounted to in the playoffs? Nothing but 1 playoff win. The only team ever to have 3 straight years of 12 wins and not make a conference championship. Ever.
Nice.
Good history.
That's good history.
Good history.
Now, I've said this before. In the Cowboys organization, this goes to Jerry. This is on Jerry now.
Yep.
This is on Jerry. We've got more bad history on the Cowboys now than good history. And I'm talking about from the 60s right up. Now we have more bad history on Dallas, choking, blah, 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 blah. We have more bad history for the Dallas Cowboys than we have good history.
And it has
with Roger Staubach and the Aikmans and Lillys and all those guys. Mike Ormans and Emmets. We have more bad history.
And it has to fall on Jerry.
Because
he's the owner, he's the GM, he picks the players, he picks the coaches, he picks what color socks they're going to wear, he picks everything. He picks the marble floor. Let me tell you a story. Jerry Jones was building the stadium, and he was trying to buy marble for a certain part of the stadium. And the company in Italy wasn't dealing with him. They knew who they're dealing with Jerry Jones. They weren't dealing fair. Jerry felt like they were trying to just work him over. So Jerry bought the entire company, fired the people he was working with for that company, paid whatever he wanted for the marble. After the project was done, he sold the business for a profit. That is Jerry Jones. He will take everything into account. And yet, when it comes to the Cowboys' wins and losses in the playoffs, somehow he doesn't feel the responsibility. It's a coach, it's an injury, it's whatever other decision, it's the referees. Jerry, it's on you. And it's been an abject failure for decades now.
Now, and this is the difference between successful businessmen, which they all are to get into the game. What it boils down to is called X's and O's. X's and O's. You have to have somebody. He has not picked a coach. He's picked a coach, but he has get his hands in heavy other little things. And somewhere along the line, how should we say it? Wherever you work at, in the office, landscaping, blacktop, chemistry class, whatever, if somebody does not demand high amount of success, personal success for the betterment of the team, and that boss does not demand it, you ain't gonna work hard.
And
I don't know if I said it right. Did I say it right?
Yeah. Jerry demands success at the box office. He demands tickets be sold, demands there's movie stars, demands there's stars as players, right? All that stuff. But when it comes to playoff success, you can say whatever you want, but it's been painfully obvious for decades now that there has been a lack of success in the playoffs. And what's the one factor? They won 3 Super Bowls, 2 because of Jimmy specifically, and the third one because Jimmy laid the foundation for that. It wasn't Barry Switzer drafting these stars.
But we've had 500 coaches.
Right.
We haven't won. We've had the 500
Even
coaches.
Parcells, right? You have
we've
a
had
hard-nosed coach. You have Wade Phillips, who's a player's coach.
489.
Jason
we have 489. We haven't won. So,
and it's just pathetic. Don't even mind that phone ringing right now. That's bothering me too. Put that phone off.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dan Quinn, I think, is gone.
Yeah.
I think he's going to get a head coaching job again.
Yeah.
Fine. He deserves it. I hope we beat them by 1,000 when we play whoever team he's coaching next. Who do you want as defensive coordinator next? Because we know McCarthy is staying for another year.
I wouldn't move anybody up. I would get Wink in. I want a different defense. They'll make them more aggressive. If you have Parsons on a contract, it'll be attacking defense. They have that type of a thing. You got to get a couple the defensive tackles are, I think, on a lighter end. So up the middle, and obviously you got to get middle linebackers and linebackers. Yeah.
I don't even know where to start looking for a defensive coordinator because I don't know. Because McCarthy's in the last year of his contract, there's no one out there who I'm like, you know what, hire them as a D coordinator, and if McCarthy doesn't cut it, I'll take them as head coach, right? At least the Commanders, they fired Ron Rivera, who was an awful head coach, but they hired Bieniemy last year and said, okay, I could see him moving up naturally to the head coach, but they haven't hired him yet, by the way. There's no defensive coordinator that I'm like, that's the guy who I want to be the next head coach if it's not going to be McCarthy. I want a clean house. I mean, we've wanted Belichick. Even before McCarthy, we know that Belichick was not one of the options because Jerry wants ultimate control over everything. And that just doesn't work with Belichick. Think about it. It drove Parcells insane to the point where he left the playoff team that was one stupid play away from, making a deep playoff run. And Parcells was like, I'm good. I'm not dealing with Jerry anymore.
Well, we know now that it took a lot for Jerry to deal with Parcells because he wasn't in on every little thing. So, and that made Jerry kind of sick to his stomach.
Made him jealous. Makes him jealous because this show has to be about Jerry. And we're talking about Jerry again. And at some point, you tarnish your own legacy, Jerry. Tarnish your own legacy. People like Lamar Hunt, the owner for the Chiefs. The Hunt's owners, they're very well liked. They're not involved in every decision, but they win. They hired Andy Reid. 5 straight AFC Championship games, and if they win this weekend, it's going to be 6.
Yep.
And the owners get the credit. And Jerry thinks he's the smartest guy in every single room he's in. And unfortunately, he's shown that when it comes to football...
Business is business.
Right.
Football, X and O is a whole different thing.
It's just not the same.
You gotta have, and let me get. We got this right here. Here's what I meant to say. When you hire people, you gotta let them do their job. That's what I meant to
That's
say.
it.
You
I
gotta
agree.
Yeah.
You have to let them do their job.
Yeah, you gotta let them do their job. You gotta trust them.
Can't be the head chef and the sous chef and every other chef in the kitchen. You have to do your job.
Yeah.
Put the menu together. This is where we're going. Everyone else has to do their job. I don't even know. I'm just speechless for what to say. This is a short episode. This is a short. I mean, this is.
Yeah. You got 2 minutes or what?
Well, I got plenty. Whatever you want to talk about, Jack. Go ahead. Say what you got to say.
Well, I have my ending.
Oh, you want to end?
Yeah. Because
There's nothing else really to say because it's just been an embarrassment. It's a sad end to this season. This is the end of season 3 with the Cowboys and Coffee podcast. We'll be back after the playoffs are over so we can complain about how we're going to
we might squeeze something in.
If we have an interview, it's possible we have interviews. We're working on interviews with some Cowboys players, former Cowboys players, Cowboys staff, execs. We'll see what we can do there. But as far as a regularly scheduled programming, we'll just hold off for now. But we'll get back to you. But you got something?
Yeah, I'm going to say shout out to somebody that a name I can't say, but I remember about staying out of his huddles. Yeah, good brother.
You know who
good
you
brother.
are. You listen to Cowboys and Coffee podcast.
You're the best. Thank you for making a very difficult time that we go through when we lose. We get telephone calls and we chat and stuff. And thank you personally as a good big brother. Yeah.
I don't know what else to say here because I don't know who.
So you're going to title Everything Sucks or Bad History? More Bad History, whatever. Whatever.
Everything sucks.
Everything sucks. That's
because
good.
you know what? Everything sucks right now.
Yeah.
There's nothing to do. I'm a draftnik. I follow this year round. We'll eventually have Connor Livesay back at some point in the spring to talk more draft stuff for the Cowboys. He's fantastic. He's an incredible draft guide that's available for purchase. It's worth every penny.
But we could.
That's where we're going.
We are working on some guests.
Like I said, we're working on getting people on here.
Yeah.
But we're not talking football this season anymore. And it's January, mid-January. We should be talking until February. And when the Super Bowl's over, we're going to talk about Cowboys could have beat that team. I don't care who it is. Ravens.
Yeah.
All mad in 95. It don't matter who it is. We're going to say,
good is that?
Cowboys could have beaten that. Cowboys could have beaten them.
Yeah.
No, they can't. And the reason is they're coaching. And their players. And I hope those guys are having a really nice vacation because it's on our backs. It's the average Joes who pay money to go to games and buy these shirts, buy the sweatshirts, whatever it is. And we buy little helmets that we put up and we buy little pops for Micah Parsons and all these little things that we have so that you guys can be millionaires and then not try in the playoffs and then be bums, be dogs. Play like idiots. Play like clowns. Stupid penalties. No heart. No fire. And that's why Jimmy Johnson ripped you guys a new one at halftime. But you know what? No one cares. Head coach didn't care. Defensive coordinator didn't care. Players don't care. Jerry, obviously you don't care, Jerry. If you wanted to win, you would change and not keep doing the same stupid thing again and 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 again. But here we are.
Pride.
Another year. So, it's dedicated to the stupid players. Micah Parsons podcast. You should go listen to that because he's not putting out a new episode right now because they lost. Thanks, Micah. We appreciate it. Thank you for nothing. Thank you for another year where you got your accolades, you got your sacks, and then you transformed into Shante Carver in the playoffs. You know, congratulations to Dak. You played great and you turned into Clint Storner in the playoffs. Congratulations to whoever else. Who was the tackle that the Cowboys signed? He played left tackle a few years ago and he let up 7 sacks against the Falcons.
Green.
Chaz Green. Congratulations to the offensive line. You guys played like Chaz Green in the playoffs. Chaz Green.
Round pick too.
Some of these guys need to be flipping burgers next year, not playing in the NFL because you're pathetic. And Mike McCarthy should be one of them. Go back to your barn, buddy. You could say maybe the defense just needs a little tweaks like last year, but what about the offense? And all the tweaks and come to the playoffs and then you come out and you needed a roughing the passer penalty to get points at the end of the first half.
Ugh.
All that for nothing. Should have been shut out. Great day. Great day. You can find us at Designated Report. We got all the stuff out there. You can find us on YouTube, Cowboys and Coffee Podcast, on Anchor, Spotify, whatever, iTunes. Find us everywhere.
Looney Tunes.
Yeah, that's where the Cowboys should be. That's it.
That's it.
All right. Listen, we appreciate you listening. We appreciate you watching. And you can find us anywhere. Find us on Instagram, Facebook. Let us know how the Cowboys stink, because they do. And that's it. And probably that's the end of season 3. Bless you guys. See you later. Everything sucks.
Bye.